Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing morning here live from our studio in Lagos, Nigeria. This is Welcome to Wade's Breakfast, hashtag What Are You Saying? I'm excited to be starting off my morning with you, our valued viewers. On this show, as you know, we give you the best conversations that shape our future. From politics to governance, everything health, we discuss technology, finance, and of course, trending issues are not left out. Representing 100% on this chair is I, Okikiola Taiwo Jalukmo, your anchor for today. And I'm double excited to share this table with my incredible co-anchors, God's Beauty Israel and Oluchi Precious Omenka. Good morning, ladies.
My name is not Omenka.
So what's your name?
It's a traditional name.
I was waiting for that.
Not Omenka.
Okay,
please.
introducing Oluchi's Precious Omenka.
Thank you, you hit it.
Do you know what
That's
it
how
means
it's
in
pronounced.
Yoruba?
I don't want to know because I'm not Yoruba.
I'll tell you after the show. But how are you feeling this morning? I know you came with violence this morning. It's radiating on the show, but God's beauty, let me hear
do you want to know the reason for my violence?
Hold that thought.
I'll hold it. I'll hold it.
God's beauty, tell me, how are you feeling this morning?
I'm good. I mean, obviously, I'm looking beautiful and...
As always.
Well, hello. I'm looking beautiful, baby. Take it or leave it. I mean, it's only one God's beauty here.
If he makes you
it's
sleep
not
well at
God's
night.
beauty Israel, it can never be
If he makes you
God's
sleep well at
beauty
night,
Israel.
baby girl.
Of course.
I like this violent table. Please, can you release your thoughts now and tell us why you are so angry this morning?
I'm not exactly angry. I'm
happening?
just
What exactly is
sober.
going on?
Because I've been thinking, how exactly do you communicate with somebody very close to you, something they are doing wrong without hurting their feeling? I feel like I'm in a dilemma.
Okay.
I'm on the fence, how do they call it now? Somebody is doing something really bad and awful. And I know that if I say it, it's going to hurt their feelings, and I don't know how our relationship will be afterwards. But I have to say it, but I shouldn't say it. So that dilemma is crazy, guys. That's how I'm feeling. So it's making me a bit sober, not sad. I'm sorry if I pour it on you guys, but
No,
you'll be
it's all
fine.
right. It's all
It's
right.
not fine.
I think what you should do is to just tell the person. I mean, one way or the other, you have to tell the person. The person has to know.
And
so that you don't keep
ruin the
feeling the way-
relationship.
I mean,
Bond
I'm
the
so
bridge.
sorry.
You know
What
what?
Kim said is
You know-
F the relationship. I'm so sorry. But because if you're feeling a certain type of way because of what's going on, it's important that you tell the person so that the person knows.
It's not directly affecting me. It's about them that they need to change for themselves. If I tell them,
okay.
I don't know how they'll take it. I feel like people, they don't like to hear the truth. Nobody really likes to
it's
hear
true, it's
criticism
true.
as much. I'm still thinking of how it's going to be done. Maybe I'll just let it go.
Yeah, since it's not affecting you directly. And yeah. I was thinking it's something that affects you directly. I was thinking it's something that affects you directly.
This is the advice that I'm going to give.
Tell me.
Okay, bring it on.
That depending on the communication and the relationship, sometimes being truthful sort of saves what you think is going to be destroyed by saying the truth.
True.
So you might tell the person and the person feels some type of way for a week or two. I think we've even had this discussion on the table when we were talking about entitlement, and over time you realize that maybe this thing wasn't really necessary. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. So it's both communicating to the person, and it's left for the person to now self-evaluate and see that, okay, where have I gone wrong? There's always space for change, really. But you cannot determine the timing of the change. That's one thing. That's why you think that maybe the relationship would end or something's going to go wrong. But you have to give the person time. Say your truth and give the person time to process it, whether it comes out positively or negatively. The point is that you first.
Thank you, my
Don't leave
therapist.
yourself.
Yeah,
If you like,
that's
leave
why
yourself.
I was saying that if
If
it's
you like,
something
give
that
up.
directly affects her, I mean, it's important that you
Speak
air out
about it.
exactly. It's important that you speak out. But something that is not directly, going to disturb you, and it's probably just on them. So I mean, it's on you to really know if you want to speak to them or
Wow,
not.
I've got the best girls on this
So
table.
this
Thank
morning,
you so much.
this is free therapy that you did not pay for, but we have given her advice. She'll pay us after the show.
Yes, I can't wait.
Well, today's conversation is a very interesting one. So trust me, you should stick around. Our phone lines are open to you. Please call us on 070-2500-7749 or 070-142420. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click that subscribe button now, like and share this link. Tune into channel 145 on your Go TV and don't miss this. As you know, today in history is our way of increasing your wealth of knowledge. So we'll go on a break right now, and when we return, we'll take you through the top stories making headline across the globe. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Now, let us take a look at what's making the headlines today. Today, we'll be highlighting the top stories from the pages of the Punch newspaper, The Guardian, and the International Guardian. Starting off with God's Beauty, as usual.
All right, straight into the Guardian newspaper. Top left, we have the fashion loved me most at my skinniest. Top right, it's pure stroke, Cornwall's long love affair with Sophin. Then the main headline says, biggest cut since austerity era as Reeves tried to plug budget deficit. Bottom left, Trump and Zelensky in positive phone call. Emphasis on that positive, because I'm like, okay, any conversation between Trump and Zelensky is going to be a very shaky one. Then the last headline says, Greenpeace face huge bill after a legal defeat. So I want to quickly talk on the headline I already made emphasis on, which is Trump and Zelensky in positive phone call. I know, I think for every time I sit down here, it's always Trump issue you're talking about. I'm so sorry, guys. But giving more updates on this, right? It is stating on this newspaper that Trump and Zelensky had a conversation about, the war and what's going on with the Russians as well. And, we already know for a fact that there's that point of Trump saying that he's not going to help the Ukrainians with any military aid and all. So now that they're having a phone call conversation, and it's not tagged positive, in my head, I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? Is it that Zelensky have decided to give, his raw materials to Trump, or has Trump decided to help them with military aid? So it's a very dicey situation. And everybody's, every critical person is just thinking about it and it's like, okay, what's going on here? Even though they have not given us updates on what exactly was spoken about, but we know for sure that it's regarding the war. And the fact that it's tagged positive, fingers crossed, we need to know
both
what
parties are going to benefit.
Exactly. We really don't know what it is, but I can't wait to hear what the latest news on the war is going to, be like. So yeah, that's all I have for you on the Guardian newspaper.
Well, Oluchi, can you take us through the local Guardian newspaper, please?
Absolutely. The major headline reads, stalled Naira for crude deal, imminent end to subsidized petrol as FX PMS face major disruption. Many feared dead, cars burnt as tanker explosion rocks Abuja. Federal government dismisses WHO report on stockout of essential HIV drugs. SDP denies connection, party funding by Tinubu. And Shetima tasked lawmakers on food security legislations. Federal government reads riot acts to state as Nigerians use state of emergency in Rivers. Working group summit report seek urgent help for correctional centers. Above that, we see EFCC arrests Bauchi, AG and others over alleged 70 billion naira fraud. Okpebolo predicts victory for Tinubu in 2027 as 17 local government bosses dump PDP. And last story is still on Senator Natasha's issue, says constituents reject sham recall process as Kogi Rec dismisses rumor. Well, apart from everything happening in politics and everything really, I just want to talk about this federal government reports and the WHO reports. So there's how would I put it now? There's conflicts with their statements. According to some reports that was done, I think the Geneva stuff or so, they listed Nigerians among countries that do not have, the essential HIV drugs to cater for patients and people who are suffering from this. And then the federal government have come out to claim that such reports should not be put out in public without them having proper context to what's happening in the nation and the resources or the effort of the government to really make these things available. And I looked at the story and I'm wondering if a particular body will come out with a report, it means there was research. I'm not sure they are doing it based, I don't want to be so absolute, but based on how things work, if an external body is going to give reports, it's based on research, studies, numbers and figures, and then we're saying this is what is happening here. But of course, the federal government have come out to defend the nation to say that, no, that's not what's happening. But the good news of this story is that they are rolling out 2 billion naira to boost primary health care and support vulnerable Nigerians, which sounds good. But again, why is it so urgent? Is it because there's a report on your neck and you're trying to just make people not feel fidgety? And because Nigerians would always feel fidgety with stories like this. So I'm sure there's this thing in politics where everybody should be calm, right? Let's just find a way to calm people down. But I do not want to assume that that is what is. I want to assume that something went wrong with the whole report. And as the federal government has come out to defend that there are actually drugs available, I believe them.
I believe the government too. I believe Nigeria.
The fact that she's a hope person, let me go on that.
No, it's not really hope. I like that. So the flip side of it is that I like that the government have come out to WHO is an independent body, right?
of course.
And then it's all right for any country when there's maybe news about the negative or whatever. It's all right for any country to just come out and say, okay, that's not our reality.
Right.
Maybe there is a bit here and there, but we have this for now. And this is what we are working with. And then you cannot give us...
You know what I'm thinking?
What
I'm
are you
thinking that
thinking?
many other bodies should come out to say that Nigerians are not doing well in many areas. It will make the government pump out more money. I mean, they just said you're not doing well. You pumped 2 billion naira to healthcare. What about education?
Well, that's on the flip side. That's another thing when I said that we have to now learn to stop necessarily cussing out the government in order to get results.
So what do we do exactly?
Just like what I've said, this is your problem. There's no Nigeria is going to crumble. There's no. It's just saying that this is your reality. You need to face it. And the federal government say it's a lie. It's not our reality. We will not face it.
We have the drugs.
We have the drugs.
Take this 2
2
billion.
billion so that people will prove that we have it and we have funds to even cater for it. So that is like. See your problem or put it out there, and then there's solution. There's no cutting out. There's no, talk and do.
Let's see how that goes.
Anyways, this Thursday morning, join us as we explore the world of remote work experience for Nigerians in the diaspora and Nigerians in general. We'll be taking your questions and comments live on our social media platform. You can tell us what you feel about the papers. You can tell us what you feel about the topic. You can tell us what you feel about the today in history. So please be sure to join the conversation as we go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Welcome back to the show, guys. Today we're talking the remote work experience. We're talking about the unique struggles and opportunities for Nigerians in the diaspora. Well, with the rise of remote work, many Nigerians living in Nigeria are now able to work for companies based abroad and other parts of the world. But what are the unique struggles and opportunities that come with this experience? That's one question we're asking. Joining us to dissect this topic is a beautiful and talented guest called Treasure Obasi. Treasure Obasi is a dynamic and multifaceted Nigerian-born actress, poet, and entrepreneur. Her creative expression knows no borders, and her impressive background in education, tech, and public relations informs her work in the entertainment industry. With a presence in both Nigeria and the UK, Treasure brings a unique perspective to her craft. Her poetry and performances are infused with warmth, honesty, and a fierce grace, making her a compelling voice in the industry. Treasure's passions extends beyond entertainment world. She's dedicated to storytelling, women's wellness, and soulful expression, cementing her position as a rising force across industries and continents. Well, she's here, as you can see her, to guide us and share her insight through this conversation. Welcome, Treasure. Good morning.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Good morning. Good morning.
I really like your name, Treasure, because it gives us this, if you're coming to me, you better come correct or no come at all. Yeah. So, this conversation, I found it on Instagram, where a lot of people were complaining about Nigerians, especially employing Nigerians, people who are in diaspora employing Nigerians to work for them. They said there's either the complaint of no light, no internet, something is always wrong. So it struck me that, is it Nigerians that, should we start blaming Nigerians, or we should blame the Nigerian government, or we should blame the diasporans that want to pay in naira, but realize that when you ask them to pay in dollar, they'll be like, who are you to be earning that kind of money? Because if I ask for $2,000 as payment for a certain job, they can be like, who are you to be earning that kind of money when you're living in Nigeria, trying to live large? So what I want to ask you is, have you ever had a remote job? Do you employ people remotely in Nigeria? And what are the challenges and opportunities you think have surfaced from that adventure?
You know, I saw that Instagram post, and the person was like, if you're tired of Nigerians complaining about no lights, no Wi-Fi, no this, no that, pay them $2,000. Pay them minimum wage that you would pay to someone working in the city that you live in Nigeria. But then they believe that Nigerians don't deserve that because the cost of living is significantly lower, which I will disprove in a few moments. So yes, to your question, yes, I have had remote jobs, and no, that's fine. And I have employed people to work with me remotely. And what I do find is that remote working is an amazing experience because it allows you a bit more control over the typical 9-to-5 life. However, it's also very limiting because you're then, your home space is not sacred anymore, and you're then having to work in your home space. You know, the line between work and life is blurred, and there's hardly any balance there except you're very intentional about it. And but the pay, because you're not commuting to work, you're not spending extra money buying lunch lunch at work, all those other bits and bobs that you would normally spend money on if you were commuting to work, going into work every day, clothing, maybe accessories, makeup if you're a girly girl, you know, you don't spend as much. But what I do find is that remote working is also a space where there's a lot of exploitation, especially when it comes to giving work out to people who, for instance, I live in the UK, I've lived in the UK, I'm here now anyway. So living in the UK, and you see employers giving work to people in India or Nigeria or Thailand, and they pay them significantly lower rates. But the thing is, there is also rules regarding this because those rates should not be lower than a certain threshold. not just because the cost of living in that country is such and such, but because they need to maintain the reputation of the company. Because if it was ever heard that this company was paying their staff working abroad such a low amount, that's really, really like bad press for them. But when it comes to like business owners giving remote working opportunities to, let's be specific, Nigerian talent and Nigerian tech bros and tech sisses, I think there is quite a lot of exploitation there and a very high amount of expectation to what their work output should be without regarding what it takes to produce that output. Now in the UK, they never take like, your bill is your bill, but like there's never going to be a power outage. You would never hear about a generator except you're camping somewhere in the forest. You're never going to hear of like Wi-Fi issues really, or significant like a trailer fell down and then traffic everywhere stopped. So maybe they needed to get some equipment maybe for content creators or something, and that's been so. And I feel like people who are employing talent should really consider these things. That, yes, the cost of living in Nigeria is quite lower than it is in the UK for certain things, such as maybe housing, maybe labor, maybe food, but it's not really that much of a difference, really, because a loaf of bread in the UK is like now like £2-3. A loaf of bread in Nigeria is like 3,000 naira now. So it's like maybe half of it, or more than half at best. So they're not considering these things. And there's this expectation that, oh, because I'm paying you so much, which actually is little for that role, they expect them to do double the work. It's always been half the pay for double the work. Things that they would not even dare say to people who are in the UK. And I get it, because maybe they just want the website built to, built cheaper. Maybe they're trying to like, employ labor because they're actually helping the economy. But I think there should really be discussions had about if really the pay is worth it. Like, you can't have a developer build you a website in the UK for anything less than, like a standard website, anything less than like £2,000-3,000. And that is really like just starting, right? But then that converted to Naira as of today would be 6 million Naira. If a Nigerian developer asked for 6 million naira to build you a website, you would go, you and who?
Something of
Are you okay?
You know what I
I
mean?
know someone that does it 50,000 naira.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right? And then at the end of the day, like, the cost of living in Lagos is also rapidly increasing. I was so shocked when I came in 2 weeks ago. But then they don't understand these things, and then they just talk about, oh, people are always complaining. But what if they're complaining because the money that you pay them is not enough to get those things that you would normally get for, like, not for free, but as a basic, like basic amenities in the UK. But then in Nigeria, we have to pay extra for it. We have to pay for petrol, diesel for the generator. We have to pay extra for those bits to make the work even easier and more comfortable to do. And by the way, I would say that because of the current economy of Nigeria, a lot of Nigerian bros and sisters in tech are so talented and so skilled. They are more skilled than the average, in my experience, the average international person with that job title, because they've had to diversify, not by choice, but out of survival. So you will see a web developer who's also really good at UI UX. You will see a PA who's also really good as a virtual assistant and social media manager, who also does content creation. But then in the UK, if you had a CV where there's like 4 different things, people would find it hard to believe, because people only focus on one thing. So when you're employing Nigerian skill, Nigerian talent, I would say be very aware that you're getting the best of the crop. So maybe the pay should try to reflect it. Like, I understand, the way we think and the way we reason about like labor not being too expensive, but maybe the change has to start with us. Like, I mean, I'm one person who's personally trying her best to do this, because I had a nanny last year when I came, and then I employed her services again because she diversifies. So she's also diversifying, trying to find a remote job. She's learning different skills. And I said to her, why don't you go do this research and that research for me? Go here and there and there. So just sort of like a remote personal assistant. And she did so well. And I know that for her age and skill set and maybe educational level, which she hadn't gone to the university yet, many people would want to pay her, say, like 100K or less. But I'm like, tell me what you want. Tell me what would make you comfortable. Factoring in transportation, factoring in her feeding, factoring in money to live, factoring in the fact that it would be nice to put some few thousand naira aside. And she told me, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay you that. Find it pinched, because that was not my expectation. But then I had to think about it and restructure my mindset, because really, these people deserve higher pay.
Oh my God.
Wow, I'm wondering which question I'm going to ask next. Should I say, I know somebody as well that can deliver, and we're going to have that conversation, but let's move aside from that. So you spoke about exploitation. I have somebody that has worked in this remote space.
Yes.
But there's something that you have not mentioned, and that's the aspect of outsourcing. So it seems as though there's the part of remote work where somebody is like the middleman that links the people who want these services and the Nigerian talent. So sometimes the fact that there's low payment or they don't get as much pay is not directly a cause of the people who need the talent, but the middlemen who are outsourcing this talent. So it's even a very terrible thing how that most times these middlemen are Nigerians who feel like, why do you want to be earning 2 million? I'll give you 300K and you'll be happy. And they also will be happy because that's what we earn in Nigeria per se. So I'm wondering what you do in, I mean, how would you advise people to handle the middleman, narrative that can also cause exploitation?
You see, I smiled when you started talking about this, because isn't that the problem that we have in Nigeria?
Right.
From the top to the bottom. You guys were talking about politics this morning. Isn't that the problem that we have? I don't want to say the C word, but we all know the word I'm talking about.
Of course.
But I think that having an agency or a middleman to sort of, handle outsourcing, that's something that's done everywhere in the world, right? I'm a BCS board certified business analyst. Yes, I dabble. And when I was looking for a business analyst role, some jobs would be advertised, but it was the agency advertising for the employer. That's just because there's a lot of legalities that the employer doesn't want to have to handle. It's sort of like like the agency sort of acts as a guarantor for the member of staff to come into the company, represent. So it's kind of, some employers do, like, they prefer that process. And so when you're looking to employ talent from outside the country, whatever country that is, Canada, US, UK, whatever, it just makes sense for them to have an agency. But what they don't factor in is that sometimes, because whatever you agree with your agency as a talent or as human resource, it's up to you, right? It's up to you and them. So the company that's employing you, that you're doing work for, they're like, But what I then find is not enough background checks are done, like not background checks per se, but like not enough like due diligence is done to see if these agencies are actually paying fair wages. Because I do believe that there is a space for that. There is a space to make sure that the agency that you're employing your staff through, or you're employing to bring their staff to work for you, is actually paying your staff fair wages. Because if they're disgruntled, you will see it in your work. And that doesn't mean they're unprofessional. It just is human nature, right? So, there's greed, and there is, I will say the word now, there is corruption. And I have friends who are project managers. I have a female friend and a male friend. They're both product managers. My male friend has been a product manager for 6 years now. My female friend has been a product manager for 1.5 years. Now, my female friend, who's a product manager, earns about 200,000 naira a month. 220,000 naira a month. And then my male friend, who's a product manager, earns in dollars, but when it's converted, it's only about $650,000 naira. Did I say dollars the last time? Naira, 220,000 naira and 650,000 naira. Where in the world is that heard of? And they are literally on the phone all the time. Sometimes they are working into the night because of the time zone differences and challenges. Sometimes they say, oh, there's this issue. And because they appreciate the job so much, whereas someone who was living in the US who knows or who is more aware and more able to express their right with like employee rights, right to work-life balance, like, oh, yeah, it's not working hours, I'm not looking at that. But a Nigerian would be like, oh my God,
We're not bold
this
enough.
email, this, that, you know, and that is our work ethic. I think I should just put these earrings down now. That is our work ethic, you understand? Because we are givers. When we do something, we know they do them small.
I like this
We
switch.
go hard.
Yeah.
So it's so unfair that these agencies want to take advantage of that. And I wouldn't say cut them out entirely. I would just say, if the companies that are employing the agencies to bring in staff are not doing due diligence, you as a talent should maybe try to do your own due diligence. Explore, see, this is literally magic. The world is in your palms. The world is your oyster. There are tools that you can find yourself, tools that artificial intelligence can help you find to access those kind of roles that will enable you to work from anywhere, regardless of maybe stuff like, you know, right to work, you know, bank accounts and payments and stuff, that will not exploit you. Fine, it might not be up to par with, you know, but then it wouldn't be as ridiculous as some of the figures that we're hearing for salary a month with the intense workload, you know?
Thank you so much, Tresha. And I like the fact that you already stared the solution ground, I mean, with your ending words. And I think that's where I want to, you know, ask my question. Now, let's talk a bit about the solutions. You've called out the challenges, the fact that people here in Nigeria, and I mean, people outside the country now, these employers pay them way better. But where we here Nigerians, they pay us lesser due to like the economy value and all of that. So let's start talking about challenges, because the truth is, the way the world is going now, nobody wants to do 9 to 5 anymore. Everybody is going to, oh, okay, let me just get a skill and start doing remote job. Do you understand? But again, when you hear this kind of challenges, there's always that, you sure say I want to do this, make I just stick to this one, why they do. Do you understand? So now let's start talking solutions now. What exactly do you think people that are transitioning into this remote job, what should they do differently? Was it skills that they should acquire? Because you made mention of tools. So is it, you know, skills that they should acquire so that when they bring all of these things forth, and there's something you make mention of, and I really love that, where you said that people are outside the country now, they focus on one thing. But here in Nigeria, we are, you know, we diversify, exactly. So is it that when we speak to these employers, we let them know that, okay, if you want to pay me for this one, the money is different. When you want to pay me for this one, the money is different. So I want us to, you know, talk about the solutions ground now. So just you know, put us on it.
Yeah, wouldn't that make sense, though? It would make so much sense if we could just stand our ground and say, I'm not going to take this. And that's not even just with remote working. I'm an actor, and I also do other things. I'm an entrepreneur, everything. Well, not everything. But I dabble. And in every field that you can ever think of, there is possibility for you to be exploited as talent. But because there is someone somewhere that will do more work for less pay,
I know someone cheaper.
Do you understand? They will say, why should I employ you when... And it's always that way. And even when it comes to like being governed as a people, because we take certain things, because some people would much rather just have that than have nothing. I think if everybody stood up for their rights like that, it would be great, and that would make so much sense. But then we know that that's not going to happen.
Exactly. Our reality is different.
Yeah, it is.
So let's be realistic.
So that the putting your foot down, unfortunately, that will just at best position you as, okay, someone confident, but yeah, or that the
And
person
they
is a
resist
diva.
confident
Yeah,
people now.
No, they do, and I think that's a very unintelligent thing to do, by the way. So I would say, as a solution going forward, I don't have all the answers, but what I think is that, like I said, people should take their future in their hands a bit more, searching for these opportunities by themselves. If you have colleagues or friends or family, I mean, there is a Jackman movement going on, and every other Nigerian has a family member or friend that is abroad. Do you have someone abroad? Do you have someone
Yes,
abroad?
I
You
do.
have someone abroad.
I have
You have someone
I
abroad.
have people.
You have people abroad. You probably have someone as close as a sister or a brother abroad. So I mean, getting these remote jobs, if it's something that maybe there's websites that can't be accessed outside of the country, asking these people, can you help me do this research? Help me search for this. Help me do this. Help me do that. You know, and maybe finding a way where they could be your middleman. Right, it will take a lot of figuring out, but I think that's a potential thing that you could do, because I've got a friend or two, a remote role, that way when I was, you know, in the UK and they were here, and it was significantly more work because I'm not an agent, I don't have the network or the structure down for that kind of thing, but I was determined, and I mean determination is in our blood, so we can make it work, and then for challenges about like. What are the challenges? I think a challenge would be competition.
Yeah.
It's a very insanely competitive market right now for remote working. And people are like, oh yeah, I'm tired of the 9-to-5 life. I think the 9-to-5 life they mean is the physical 9-to-5 life.
Yeah.
Because remote working now is 5 to 9.
Oh, wow.
But because you're at home, you
Yeah.
can do it from your couch,
relaxed,
from your bed,
yeah.
from the gym.
Nobody's telling you what
You
to
know,
do.
exactly. You can do it. You can take an hour out of your sleep and do it. Yeah, that kind of flexibility is what a lot of people are going for. So maybe the challenge, I would say, would be maybe the balance of work and life. And no, we were talking about competition.
Yeah.
So competition and then work and life. So the competition, now there will always be competition in any fields that you go into.
Sure.
But you have to find yourself more and figure out what sets you apart. So yes, you are a project manager. What is your approach to project management? No, I'm not just talking about whether you're agile or waterfall or hybrid methodology. No, I'm talking about what exactly sets you apart. Everyone is, oh, I'm results driven, I'm dedicated, I'm enthusiastic. Yes,
CV
but
writing.
do you understand? But what exactly would you say, like when things actually come down to maybe meeting deadlines, maybe scope creep, what exactly would you say makes you different? Can you keep calm? Can you get everyone else to keep calm? Do you have people skills? You know, what makes you different? So highlight that. And I'm not just talking about a CV. I'm talking about when it comes to your interviews, when it comes to your work delivery, because they will be watching you.
Right.
And a lot of people have actually got the jobs but lost the opportunities. So find out what actually sets you apart and go there and build a house. You know.
Another word.
Encourage the house when I go.
And then for work-life balance, I mean, if you're okay with doing work at home, work at church, then what can I say? But if you really, really like worried about that and about not having enough time for your family, not being present in your daily life because now there's a blur between work and life, then I would say maybe putting like a strict structure around that and letting your employers and colleagues know as well. I mean, because of like there's Jira, there's Slack, there's a lot of like software now that's designed for easy catch up. So I don't think, other than meetings which can be scheduled around everyone else's time, and I don't think there's, for most remote jobs anyway, I don't think there is going to be such a great difficulty to finding that structure, especially if you start your job hunting process with that in mind and you make it known right from the early stages.
Well, thank you very much. So I hope
insightful.
the viewers at home, at church, at gym, anywhere, is jotting these down. We'll go on a quick break right now. When we return, we'll hear more from our beautiful and talented treasure. Please stay with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back, guys. So, Trisha said so much about remote work, the opportunities, the challenges, and for some reasons, I think that I've noticed that the opportunities sort of outweigh the challenges. If there is communication some way, somehow, I think that there can be a balance there. And it's bringing me to think that maybe this 9 to 5 thing is not my thing too. Maybe I should just, since I already have things in my head to say that I am this, I am that, something sets me apart. So if you don't pay me well,
I have people skills, Treasure. you wanna find that out?
But I want to quickly highlight the challenges of Nigerian employers, knowing fully well that there is one company abroad who is willing to let you stay at home and pay you well. Right. And then there's the Nigerian entrepreneur or business owner that has this big studio that still needs you, or maybe any space that needs you to occupy that role physically. But because you have that remote job, which is paying more and allows you to stay at home and probably lazy about to still get the job done, it now strains Nigerian companies. So where do we find a balance in that, where everybody is looking for a side hustle per se, and then when the side hustle starts to pay more than the 9 to 5 days, just say, oh, I left my job to face my career in traveling, to face my this, to face my that, and then that becomes their life. So as somebody who is in business, how do you balance this out?
As much as bread is sweet, not everyone likes it.
Period.
Not everyone eats bread. So as much as the remote work life, being paid in a foreign currency, which equates to a larger sum in Naira, and equates to more money, more comfort, more freedom, etc., not everybody will go for that. Believe it or not everybody likes remote life. A lot of people are very social, and they would rather come into work, even if it's a few times. The only thing that I've heard from people who really complain about the 9 to 5 life, other than, it being maybe the job itself is not as high paying, is maybe the commute to work, the traffic, etc. But there's people that actually love having an office where there's banter, there's laughs, there's jokes, there's steamy secret romances, and drama.
Oh my! I must hear this. When the show is over, I must say we have gist for you. Hot gist.
I can't wait. I'll hold you to it.
I'm going to tell you.
Good. Yes. So, do you actually think there is a scarcity of labor? Let's start from Lagos. Do you believe so?
I don't think that there's a scarcity of labor. I just think that people want to be paid more at everything, even when they are not qualified to deliver that role.
I agree.
People want to get paid more. They have heard stories of other people getting paid more, of luck, of chance, of grace. So they feel that, okay, I should have that same grace or luck or chance without necessarily being qualified to deliver that role. So I believe there's no scarcity of labor. Everybody is just sometimes fair to demand for what they rightly deserve, and other times just that pay me more because I know that other people are getting paid as well.
I think it's also the push of the economy. Because, even though you're not qualified for the job, you shall want the money, because if they look your account, say, oh, more, look at the way the economy is going. Exactly. So, I think that's a push too.
I get you. So, because there's no, like you've said it yourselves, because there's no scarcity of labor, those employers have no problem because they will always have staff. There is always people looking for jobs. Not everyone even knows how to begin researching to navigate the hassles of finding a job outside the country.
I agree.
They haven't even found a job in their local streets, and they just want to see what's in front of them. Like, they just want, okay, this one where they see, make how they go. Do you understand? So those employers will always have work. Now, the thing is, employee turnover might be a madness, but they will always have staff. I've actually never heard of any of my friends who are business owners and employers of labour complain that there is a scarcity of labour in Lagos. Is it a thing in the UK? Sometimes. But in Lagos, let me actually think, because I don't want to give... No, I haven't. Because there's new people coming into Lagos every day.
Every day, yes.
There's people that once they hear, oh my God, this whole remote thing is a bit straight to the 9-to-5 life. You know, and there's people who are content creators. They like going to places. Oh, spend the day with me as I go to work today. Oh, get ready with me as I go to the
Bankers
studio.
are content creators now.
Do you understand? And so the social media makes everything kind of like nicer.
Yeah.
Because they can document it and they can find people who find that relatable and they can build community around that.
Yes.
And they can feel more confident. They can feel more like they're living their dreams because they are relevant on social media. So those employers that are maybe competing with the employers abroad, they have no problem. They will always have staff.
Treasure, you know one thing that's amazing with you is that you're so multifaceted. Like you've mentioned, you dabble into many things. So reading your bio, I'm seeing tech, I'm seeing education, I'm seeing PR, you are acting, you're an entrepreneur. What don't you do, Treasure? I would like to know.
There's a lot I don't do.
The question I want to ask now is, there is the idea that remote work are usually tailored towards tech. Everything you've mentioned now, virtual assistants, PA, product manager, always tailored towards tech. So what about people that are as multifaceted as you? How do they juggle this thing so that I do not stifle other parts of my career that need some creative expression? Because the remote work, I believe, is also very consuming and overwhelming.
Of course.
Many times people have to sleep with their laptop because they're still working on projects. And I'm the type that likes to sing, or I want to do a spoken word like you do. How do I manage these things? Because I want to make more money. So is there like a timing to these things where, okay, I'll do 5-6 years of my life making all the money, then afterwards go back to my passion and other creative parts of me? I want to know how you juggle all this.
Okay, so you're asking about my personal experience.
Yes, your personal experience.
Right. So I have spent years of my life doing different things, like you've said. So I graduated university at the age of 19. My first degree was University of Lagos. My second degree was
University of
Coventry.
Lagos?
Yes,
It's okay. That's your first choice and nation's
Do you
pride.
understand?
We are
It's
not
okay.
plenty.
They don't remember you
The things
anymore.
that happen.
They have forgotten
They are not
about
forgetting me.
So, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. I started as a child actor at the age of 9.
Okay.
At the age of 10 or 11, I started as a television presenter on a show called Young Inventors, The Young Inventors, on NTA Network Channel. And I was doing that alongside school because the shows were recorded, and acting we could do during school holidays or during midterm breaks, weekends, which we had in abundance. And then going into university, I had to actually focus on that for a while. And then that's when I started my skincare business, because it was, you know, I just had to do something. My friend had me take this quiz. I think they said I'm a mason or something. I like to work with my hands, whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to do that. And I'm just a very passionate person about women and women's wellness. And I think there was a pandemic of skin bleaching at the time. So it's so funny because I started in 2015 making whipped shea butter, and now it's a thing, right? Where there's like body butters that's all whipped and everything, and I would actually whip it by hand with a whisk till it became fluffy, and I was popular at my school then in Unilag then. What year did you graduate?
I just
She
graduated.
just finished.
I just graduated.
Just enter job market.
Please.
I thought, you know, you might have been the same year. So I graduated in 2017, and so I thought maybe you might have,
My sister was in secondary
Right
school.
away.
That's okay. And I just found that as a very like interesting way to express myself, to help women, to make people feel beautiful and confident. Like, one thing about me that my friends might tell you is I'm always giving compliments, and it's not because I'm just like flattering you all the time. That's what I think. Like, if I say, oh my God, you're beautiful, oh my God, I love your energy, that is exactly what I think. So I really, really find this joy and release and happiness from making people feel good, especially when they deserve to feel good, right? And doing the skincare business for me was like a very fantastic avenue to do this. Then I graduated in 2017. I went into acting for a bit, then I relocated to the UK in 2019. Right, that's when I relocated permanently, because before then I had visited, and I didn't know what life would be like. I just thought, yeah, it's cool, you know, there's easy. I thought it was going to be easy money because nobody I knew around me was complaining about money. They just all had jobs. But the thing is, the 9-to-5 life is the life in the UK. In fact, because they operate on a credit system, you can't do anything without having a job, without being in full-time employment, even if you had the cash. Like, so average house prices now, let's say, £500,000 for a 3-bed, right? The average salary would probably be around the 30 to 40K mark a year. How can you afford to buy a house that's 500? Even if there's 10 of you buying the same house, right? So mortgages are the way. So even if you had a significant amount of cash, except you were going outside in Doncaster, Durham, up north to buy houses, it would be very difficult to get houses in. So a lot of people have just been forced to do the 9-to-5 life. So that's when I started teaching. Now, I've always had a passion for teaching because I used to tutor children after secondary school, and working in British schools really taught me a lot. My second degree is in education, so it really taught me the way, how the system ends up being the way it is, because this is how they start with the foundation. And I had never let go of my passion, which was acting. So I think I just found a way to do things in bits, right?
Seasons.
Because life should never, I don't think life is one straight road. I think it's just a mixture of different things. I think it's like a little forest where you wander and you pluck fruits on the way, you know? But now, moving forward, my focus would be on acting, right? And I do believe that there is such a huge opportunity there to express yourself, because as an actor, as a performer, whether on stage, whether on screen, you live different lives. So that's something that I'm really, really passionate about, as well as, you know, the wellness, the skincare, as well as other things that I may be doing, the tech work. And then you said something about tech work, right? Most of the remote jobs being tech. How are viewers watching us right now?
Tech.
Peter is going to tell us after the show.
It's tech. Everything is tech.
Yeah.
When I came into Lagos, I saw one old friend, and I was like, "Oh, hi, good afternoon, sir." And he's like, "So you're terrorizing Lagos? How did he know? Tech." So everything is tech. Oh my goodness, this earring. Everything is tech right now. No, I love these earrings. They were a gift. It's just this. Everything is tech right now, and whether you're acting, singing, tech, like actual, like maybe fintech or social media or it's all tech related, because the avenue that we can use to access the viewers or audience or the users will use to access that product will be tech. So tech really means everything, you know.
So I just to conclude everything you have said, is just answering Oluchi's question, is that every space might not necessarily need tech 100%, but everyone in education, in tech, in finance should find a way to incorporate tech into their daily lives, or in how they express their work or job, just like we're doing on this table right now. If not, I'll be at home discussing this topic with others.
Yeah, and I could have joined over Zoom. Tech. There might have been a Zoom moderator. Tech. You know, as an English teacher, most of my work is lesson planning, PowerPoint presentation, because the lessons are PowerPoint. You know, you have a digital board. That's tech. Everything is tech. You know, during the pandemic, I was teaching during COVID, and a lot of students joined from home online. Tech. So I became a remote worker in that sense. You know,
okay,
so then the actual tech jobs are
1
tech.
minute, because I saw poets, spoken words artists, and all of that stuff.
And
then God's Beauty had given us one some weeks ago, and then we're all like, oh my God. So we want to hear you in 1 minute or two do something for us. Poetry, spoken word.
Right. I was not expecting this, but I love surprises. So let me pull up something that I wrote.
Guys, you're hearing this from here first. It only happens on this table.
Right.
Okay.
Be careful with her. She's a firecracker. She starts off unassuming, but once a spark starts giving, she pops with the loudest crackle and the brightest light. For only a minute, and it's night once again. And yeah, you miss her, and then you try another firecracker. But it's not her. And you try, and you try. Now there's empty sticks on the floor, carcasses of lights that should have been resting. You should have taken time, mourning, instead of being busy, seeking a replacement, a thrill, another light to kill.
Oh,
I love it.
You left it behind.
Yeah, because
Wow.
only the way you
Clap.
started
You
it,
don't have
there was
this talent.
energy.
Clap.
Do you
What do
understand?
you
could
mean
feel
I don't
it.
have this talent?
You don't have the talent.
Hey, I don't want to perform here because I don't want to steal the show.
Perform.
I don't want to steal the
I
show.
appreciate
You're
it.
our guest,
Treasure,
but
let me
you know.
tell you something very common with Oluchi. She's like, I have the secret, but I will not tell you. She's
Exactly.
always like
Which
that.
is
Always
always
having-
happy.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't have she doesn't have any secret. Guys, as you can see, this is
Sisters have found themselves.
viewers. As you can see, this is an energetic table. I'll see you again tomorrow for another interesting and mind-blowing conversation. Once again, thank you, Treasure. Thank you, my co-anchors, and thank you, viewers. We love you. Bye-bye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?